Wade Davis, our guest. He's written many books. He's taken many pictures. He's an ethnographer, writer, photographer, scientist. What do they used to call you? The Indiana Jones. The Indiana Jones of the exploring world, and you're explorer in residence, National Geographic.
Right.
Now back to beautiful British Columbia, way up north. The Nass, the Skeena, the Stikine, the headwaters, the sheep. Tell me about the Red Chris mine. Where is it now?
Well, the Red Chris mine has gone through the environmental assessment process, and the weak link in the development plan of it is that it needs subsidized power, and it's always said that from the start. One of the, I think, cynical gestures of the federal government in the last few years is that the federal government has decided to subsidize a power line extension, which the Northwest Transmission Line, which will take power from the grid in Kitimat and bring it up the Stewart-Cassiar Highway to a place called Bob Quinn Lake, which is just a highway camp. There's nothing there. That will allow mines like Red Chris to plug into that subsidy and generate the power they need to develop the mines. Now, the irony in this is that the subsidy has come from the Green Fund that originally was set aside from your tax dollars to green our economy. So the rationale is that somehow this massive power line is going to get these tiny little native communities off diesel generating power. Of course, what it's really designed to do is open up this country to industrial development. That's not a bad thing. I stress that there are some sites up there like the Galore Creek mine, really good mine sites. Ecologically, no problem. Isolated from communities, the kind of place that has deposits that could generate employment for 40, 50 years.
And you could build roads in and not destroy habitat.
And the company had these visionary ideas of developing the mine in a really thoughtful way. We've had other mines that have done really well up there in terms of the environment. Eskay Creek, which was the richest silver and gold mine in the world for about a decade. The problem there comes is like, it's not about mines or no mines, it's like how many mines and where should those mines be and for whose benefit. So Red Chris happens to sit right by the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, but more importantly, if this country is ever going to develop its potential for as one of the truly classic destinations in the world. You know, it's interesting, in the world of international travel that we deal with at Geographic all the time, you have to be able to compete with everywhere. Tibet, Antarctica, the consumer is going everywhere, and you need to have a world-class, and this place is such a place. Unfortunately, the logical place where the epicenter of that economic activity will happen, if it's allowed to happen, is right where they want to put this open pit mine. So it's not just about putting in an open pit mine, it's about deciding as a people that for the rest of time, we are going to compromise this quadrant of the province.
Right, but it's a modern day gold rush of sorts. It's like copper, gold, steel making, and I understand that. I understand we need it, and we need to provide jobs. I totally get that, but not there.
That's exactly the point. When we say we're in favor of the Galore Creek mine, I mean, this is still in the northwest quadrant of the province. There are a number of mines that could go. This one is just egregiously sited. The other thing we have to talk about—
What about the people who live there?
This is when I met the Premier, you know, I think he was expecting, because I went into his office with David Suzuki, and David, I suspect the poor Premier was expecting a double flank attack from the environmental movement. I, with David's blessing, really presented as a human rights issue. You know, I opened a National Geographic magazine to a photograph of my best friend, a wonderful tall tan leader, Oscar Dennis. And with the permission of the Dennis family, I shared with the Premier what had happened to their family at Iskut in 5 years. One brother committing suicide, hanging himself. Another brother died drowning because he didn't really know how to swim. A third brother died of medical malpractice because he was diagnosed as an alcoholic when he was in fact having a seizure. A sister died on the streets of Prince George, and Oscar's own daughter killed herself in a suicide playing Russian roulette with a handgun. And I said to the Premier, in those 5 years, I cited the amount of wealth that Eskay Creek, in the billions of dollars, had taken out of tall tan land. And I said to the Premier, I'd like to know why the kids of Iskut don't have a hockey rink. Why don't they have a swimming pool? Why don't they have trust funds to ensure that all of them can go to college? Why aren't there elder centers? Why aren't there intervention centers? And the point is that the people of the country, the First Nations, they do not get access to the things that all white kids all up and down the Yellowhead Highway, from Rupert to Prince George, from Smithers to Terrace, take for granted. So if we're going to do these developments, the Native people have to get a lot more than the crumbs for the table, not just the catering jobs, not just the contracting jobs. They need trust funds from which they can build their communities.
Sure, not just the guide outfitter jobs. The people, our greatest resource.
Yes.
Yes, copper. Yes, gold, but people, our greatest resource, really.
Yeah, and the fantastic thing to me is that, the First Nations of British Columbia, it's this fantastic thing that's happened in this country where, you and I grew up in a time when Native people were second-class citizens, and I don't think of another country that has had this gesture of reconciliation and restitution such that we've created Nunavut. We're treating nation to nation. Can you imagine what the Tea Party would say if Obama was with the Navajo treating nation to nation over the fate of the uranium deposit?
The Apache Nation.
They go nuts.
Apache
Whereas
Nation.
Canada does this, and it's because we're a civil society, we're a civilized place, and we have to protect our heritage. And what is our heritage? It's the land, more than anything else.
I totally agree. The book coming up, well, some of the pictures we just saw, your pictures.
Well, no, this is a very important point.
Whose
This is a
pictures?
wonderful thing. There's a group in Washington, D.C. Called the International League of Conservation Photographers, and we raise funds from foundations to bring to a particular threatened area the very finest photographers in the world who work on a pro bono basis, give of their images, and then as a result, anyone can use those images. So this particular group ranges from fantastic photographers such as Sarah Lean of the National Geographic, Carl Clifton, Claudio Contreras from Mexico, a wonderful BC photographer, Paul Colangelo, who has devoted himself to this effort. And so with this collection, we've put together a book called The Sacred Headwaters, which will be out next fall. And I think it's going to be the best single book of imagery ever taken in Canada.
How great. And I hear you're writing a book on Everest.
That's coming out next fall, too.
Next fall.
Finally.
Finally. It's about time. I talked to your publisher last night.
It's called Into the Silence.
And you'll be at the Nonfiction Awards today, the fabulous Canadian Nonfiction Awards, introducing John Valiant, who
With
wrote
great
The
pleasure.
Tiger, with great
Wonderful
pleasure.
book.
How nice to
Thanks,
see you.
Fanny.